Hi, my name is Steven Salisbury, and this is my video detailing my problem fix for the MP Checkpoint Phase 4. The problem that I decided to try and implement into my system is a tagging system. What the tagging system allows is for you to more easily find places of a certain type. Say you want to find restaurants or parks or places where you can go shopping or things that are related to the school or places that are just for entertainment. Now it's a lot easier to do that than it was before because before you had to try and get creative with what you search by in the search box because there was no guarantee that the description of the kind of place you were looking for would always have a specific word. Like, there's no guarantee that food is going to appear in every description for every restaurant. But now, if you simply click on this restaurant button, it filters your map by what places are labeled as restaurants. And maybe you want to look at what parks are. Well, there's now you can search by parks. Maybe you want to search by shopping. You can find places that are labeled as shopping. And it's a lot easier to do this. And then you can even inside of these, sub search. So say I want to look for places that are restaurant that have food in the title. Maybe I want to look for places that have coffee in the title. There you go. And now you can do these searches and find what you're looking for easier. Now, in order to implement this, I had to do a couple of things. The first thing I had to do was I had to add support for this in the data in the place class, which you can see I did right here by adding a tags data structure, which is just a list of strings, which is the tags for any given place. Um, After that, I had to be able to make a way to search by these things. And so I made a search by tag method, which searches by the tag, and then I ended up consolidating that with the description search into one whole method, which then can chain them together, which just ends up making it a little bit easier to read what's going on. Now, once I have my methods to be able to search, I need to have a way to interface with that from the app. So in this case, it's these buttons up top. So in order to add these buttons, what I ended up doing is I ended up making a horizontal scroll view because as you can see, if I go over here, you can scroll. And normally you can scroll over if you do it correctly. There you go. So you can scroll over and see all the different buttons you have. So you can keep adding and adding. Now, inside of a horizontal scroll view, you can only have one object. So in this case, I use a linear layout in order to group a bunch of toggle buttons together. And that toggle button is a thing that I had to learn about. It's a structure in Android that is basically equivalent to a switch. But instead of a switch, you just kind of press on it once or twice and it turns it on or off. Now, each of these I had to set an on-check chains listener to, and I did that inside of the main activity where I set on check change listeners to all of the buttons, and they all have the functionality of turning off all the other buttons and also searching by them. And that allows for the functionality from the main activity to work. And then you have the add place activity where if you click on the map and you add your place, it's also going to be at the bottom right here where you can add your place. Now, in order to do that, it was a similar thing. You have the horizontal scroll view, you have the linear layout, and then you also in the add place activity, you add all of the on click listener. You set all of the on checked listeners at the top, and then it makes it easier for you to do that because you just when you create the place, you just use it as the tag once you figure out which ones are activated. Now, one problem that I ran into when I was doing this is that all my additions introduced a race issue into my problem, where when I wanted to add a new place to my map, the first time I tried to add a new place, it wouldn't show up on the map, and I was confused. I didn't know why this was happening. And it turns out the reason it was happening is because my app was calling get places to get all the places and populate the map before it was registering adding the new place. And this is a problem because it's obviously not going to grab the right place from your memory. So what I ended up doing to try to fix this problem is instead of having the calling the return to main intent um, right after I do client post favorite place, instead of doing it right after here, instead I wait for the callback from post favorite place, whether it's an error or a true, and then I do the return to main. And what this means is that no matter what, the calls are required or guaranteed to happen in the right order, and therefore, no matter what, I'm always going to populate the map correctly. That was a problem that I had to figure out with a bunch of logging messages and all that. But yeah, that's how I fixed the problem, and that's how I added tagging to my map. Thank you very much.